Listen, you know what? Something that my folks been asking me to do for a long time is to kind of do story time. And I haven't told a story in a while. So, and I really can't even tell you why I never told this story. But let's talk about it's a subject that comes up a lot. It comes up a lot because it actually is big business. Network marketing and MLM. It network marketing, multi-level marketing. That's what the MLM stands for. What is it? How does it work? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a scheme? Is it a scam? What actually is going on? Don't know why I've never decided to tell this story, but for whatever reason, I've been jarred and I feel like I want to tell the story. This is my story of network marketing. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking in. Listen, as I said, it has been a while. It has been a while since I've done this. My folks have been begging me, James, we need story time. We need a story time because that's what I do. I am a YouTuber. I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. I write and I'm a storyteller. And like I said, the one thing about me is when I tell a story, though, I have fiction books that I write, but when I'm telling a story, I tell the story and I tell the truth. So I don't know. I really don't. I can't even explain to you all. You all have been asking me for so long. You need a story time because y'all like being in my business. That's really the ins and outs. Y'all like being in my business. And I have shared. I used to share a lot, you know, not as much as I used to, but I do, I'll share. But this thing is actually very interesting. And I'm going to say, I'm gonna reach out there and say that it's probably going to be more than one part. There's probably going to be more than one part of this if you end up wanting to listen to the story. And trust me, it's very interesting. There's a lot to know. There's a lot that took place. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start right off with what the heck is multi-level marketing? What the heck is network marketing? Network marketing is very simple. It is an independent person literally doing distribution of a product for a company themselves. So instead of being able to find it in the store, you find it from a friend or an acquaintance. That's basically, in the nutshell, what network marketing is. That's basically what it is. It's real simple. What do you hear more so than the term network marketing? You ready? Pyramid. That's what people always put together. They're like, oh, that pyramid stuff. Oh, that susu stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Scheme, scam. Is it a scheme? Is it a scam? Is it? Is it? I'm live on Facebook too, y'all. Is it? Is it a scheme? Is it a scam? Is it horrible? Is it sideways? What is it? All I can tell you is what it is and what it's been to me. So, like I said, I don't know why I never decided to tell this story because it was a large portion of my life. Like I did some years dealing with multi-level marketing. Everything about multi-level marketing pretty much seemed like it shouldn't have been anything that I wanted to do. It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. And some of them, I'm going to leave like the names out. Like I'll say, like Amway, because everybody knows Amway, Mary Kay, that kind of thing. Those are the types of businesses that I'm actually talking about. Those are the businesses I'm talking about. And I'm only using those names because they're old and they're very popular and people know them. Herbalife, y'all know those ones. The newer ones that are out, I'm not here to bash any business. I'm not here to throw salt in anybody's game or anything like that. So we're going to leave the names of the ones that are going. But trust me, it's multi-million-dollar business. Okay, so yeah, there's some bad name on it. There's some dirt on the name of multi-level marketing and network marketing, but it is a profession, and some people love it, some people can't stand it, some people trust it, some people don't. It's that kind of thing. So this is why I said this is interesting, and I don't know why the bell didn't go off, and I'll just say, why don't you tell your story? So let me first say this. I'll say this. I'll give my spiel on it, and then I'll start into my story, okay? And we'll go for a while, and I'm telling you, there's so much to it that we probably won't get to everything tonight. I promise you we're not going to get to everything tonight because there's a lot to tell, and it gets juicy. Because when I tell you I did it, and I've done it for years, and I got the bumps and the bruises, and I learned how to maneuver my way around it and all of that kind of thing. See, I can see y'all in the chat. People are saying, no, Mr. James, I don't. Listen, I'm here for it. And I'm not, and let me say this. I'm going to give you, and some of these people are my people. Some of these people who are in here who are talking to me, they know me. They've been with me for years. So I ain't trying to sell you on nothing. I ain't trying to convince you of nothing. I'm just telling the story. I'm telling the story. Okay? So that's what we doing. That's what's up. Okay? So multi-level marketing, like I said, that's what it is. It is just that, multi-level and marketing. That's basically what you're doing. There's a whole culture to it and all of that. We won't get into all that, okay? Now, there's good to it and there's bad to it, just like everything else, okay? There's good to it and there's bad to it. Where I see the problem a lot of time is omission of facts makes some problems. But here's what you need to know about multi-level marketing to protect yourself. So we're going to jump right into where I already know. What I know. To protect yourself, don't ever go into a multi-level marketing or a network marketing business that does not have a product. That is the difference between an actual multi-level marketing business and a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are against the law. So you don't want to be tied up in no foolishness. You don't want to be jammed up, and you don't want to get done. Okay? You don't want to get done. It has to have a product. Okay? So it can't just be, oh, we're just building and we're all getting in together. We're throwing our money into this pot, and then you're going to get money back. Now, I'll use that. Susu, I'm going to say Susu because Susu wasn't really no business. Susu was a thing. People were running around. They're like, listen, Susu, this is what we're going to do. You will come on in. You'll put this much money in, and then you're going to tell some more people. They put that much money in, and then as it goes, the more people you bring in, and then you're going to get this rolling amount of money, and it's just going. And it's real hard to understand. You know why it's real hard to understand? Because it's some bullshit. That's why it's real hard to understand. Now, I will say there are some groups of people who because I know people who do okay with the whole Susu situation. But let me tell you, those people that I know that actually, because I did it. I followed some friends. And I was like, all right, I'll just, I'll take a chance on them because I love them. Hey, Kevin. I love them, so I'll take the chance on it. Ain't no thing. I've thrown more money away over at McDonald's on my children. Lost the money. Lost the money. And I knew better. That's the part. I knew better. But I was like, whatever. So I just want to see what this is about. Now, there are people who are families. They are families and they have their own little thing going on and they do their little thing and it has worked for their family. But that money they talking about on a large scale and there's all these people and you don't know the people and all that. Let me tell you, if you're not right there at the very, very beginning, you're going to get done because the bottom is going to fall out. That's the problem with a pyramid. If you start building and then there's nothing, there is just it's just people and we just building people. We ain't got no product. We ain't doing nothing. Ain't no income disclosure statement going to the IRS or not. It's just people throwing money in. It's going to fall out. It's going to fall out. If it's involving people who don't know each other, it's going to fall out. It's going to fall out. That's all that's to it. It is going to fall out and it's going to topple. That's just the way it is. Okay. So if you get into an actual network, if you find a business, there's always a product. Is it makeup? Is it an insurance product? Is it there's some type of a product. There's some type of a product, and there's all different kinds. Some type of a weight loss thing. There's always some type of a product. This is what I'm going to say to you about that product. And right now, I'm just giving you all warning signs. I haven't even gone into my story. When I get into my story, baby, y'all going to be hooked. Like y'all hooked with every other story when I tell y'all all my daggone business. But you must love the product. Do you understand me? Now, I'm going to say that again for the ones in the back. You must love the product. You must swear by the product. You must be using the product. Other than that, I'm telling you, it's not, you're going to be messed up. You're going to be messed up. If you don't believe in the product and then you go forth with the business, I'm going to tell you, you're a shitty person. You're a shitty person because why would you sell me something that you don't find to be useful? And you're not using it. Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Okay. So you got to really believe in the product. You need to really love the product and you need to make sure that there is a product. So there's always two different sides kind of to it. There's the building of a team of people. All of that stabilizes. And there is something that y'all are actually building toward and not just we all getting in and this money going to circulate. Money don't just circulate. That only works in a family situation where everybody understands everything and it's just a few people get too big, the bottom is going to fall out. For it to be a legal actual business, there is a product because that's what network marketing is. Distribution of a product by independent distributors, and those people actually make a percentage of profit off of what they sell. You can't get it from the store. That's the business model. You can't just go and readily buy whatever this is from the store. The whole point is that the actual the business owner, they are saying, if you take and you introduce my product to your friends and people you've come in contact with, I'm gonna give you this much percentage of what I make, and we just gonna roll. We're gonna have business, and we're gonna be all right. We're gonna build this thing. That's how it actually works the right way. The right way. And a lot of times, what ends up happening is that people don't tell the whole story. People don't tell the whole story, or people start selling you a dream. And then that's when the issues start. Okay. So that's basically, now we're live. So is everybody with me? And I want you to challenge me. Trust me, because I'm here for it. I want you to challenge me as we're going. If something I'm saying doesn't sound good, it doesn't sound right, that I'm saying, stop me, question me. That's why I did it live. I could have very well made this video and I could have did it where I was actually just, I could pre-record a video. I'm an entertainer. I'll entertain you. So if you got questions, stop and ask me like y'all did earlier. Y'all are comfortable. We family for the most part. Most of the people who are here right now in this live, they know who I am. They've been with me. They've seen videos I've done. And if you're new here, I am Spillitboy TV. My real name is James. Again, see, I tell us the truth. My real name is James Colwell. Okay. But as far as social media goes, I am Spillitboy TV. I love telling stories, but I don't like telling lies. I like to tell stories, and I'm telling my story. Okay. So let's go into how I got introduced. The first time I got introduced was Amway. It was Amway. It was years and years ago when I actually was working for the phone company. I was working for the phone company, and one of our managers was actually doing Amway. And he was like, I got this thing I want to show you because I like you and I see something in you. Now, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know. He didn't give me the name of the company. He didn't really say what it was. He was real vague. And I was like, what's you ain't saying enough. And I was young. I'm young at the time. And keep in mind, when I think I've told you all before, when I came to the phone company, I came from the world of cosmetology. I done seen it and I done heard it all. I worked in salons. People come through the salon. They then went up there to the Rite Aid and stole all the Rite Aid shit off the shelf, and then come down to the salon and try to sell us lotions and potions and you're like, no, man, get on out of here, trying to sell me some stolen goods. So I just wasn't hearing it. I wasn't hearing it. And the funny thing is, he's a person that I actually did trust. I did trust him. And I honestly think, and Amway is still around, I believe. So I think it was probably a missed opportunity for me, because as time went on and I actually did get reintroduced to it, I'm actually good at network marketing, okay? Which we're going to get into that, how it should never even actually work for me. But again, there's two things can be true at one time, okay? So I kind of just played him off, and thank goodness he wasn't one of those bad network marketers that just won't leave you alone. He wasn't one of them, okay? So he kind of, he's like, all right, James, I'll leave you alone. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So later on, years and years later, by this time, my kids been born and all of this. So here we go. My cousin contacts me, and it was a last minute thing that she contacted me, okay? And this was so weird. This is how, I always tell y'all, God will put things in front of you that you don't even know why, or the people or the thing gets in front of you. But God will put things in front of you, and you never know exactly why that's happening. You never know where it's going. You just kind of just go. I love my cousin, okay? Me and my cousin real close. And I ain't know nothing about it. All I know is she's like, listen, I need bodies in the seat. I need butts in the seat. So she invited me to come around. Hell, I'm around at her place all the time. But she needed me that day. She's like, don't tell me you come and you don't come. I need butts in the seat. I'm doing this thing, and I just need butts in the seat. Don't worry about it. It ain't gonna be nothing. I just need butts in the seat. So she was basically trying to, she's doing what she's going to do. Here it was another one of our cousins that had introduced her to this business. And they I went and I was just a butt in a seat. And I sat there. And it was so funny because I was the butt in the seat that she needed in the seat. All the rest were just, So a lot of times you'll hear people who are into network marketing saying the people that you think aren't going to do it are the people that will do it. And that was absolutely true. It was absolutely true. Since I was never expected to actually join or be a part of it or anything. I was literally just a butt in the seat to come and eat some of the food and laugh and kee-hee with the girls. Because the business that I joined, I'm going to leave it nameless, but the business that I joined was literally, it was a business that was dominated by women because it was literally about health and wellness. And it was also, but the main draw, the main product, there were health and wealth products, but the main product was a garment. It was a woman's, the flagship was a woman's garment, underneath garment. It was a corset, basically. It was a corset. We could snatch you. You'll be snatched up in 3 minutes. There's nothing like it. There's nothing out there like this, and it'll make you lose weight. And all of this, the hype. And I said, oh, okay. Now, I said, okay, cool. Now the issue about this here garment is that you can go grab you a little shapewear piece, $30, $40, and you go ahead on. This garment was almost $200. Okay. And no, you couldn't just go grab it in a store. And I'm like, okay. And I sat and I watched. Now, here's the thing. My cousin never, ever actually gave all the thought to it, which is what my cousin was not a good network marketer. She wasn't a network marketer at all. She didn't even know what she was doing. The cousin that brought her in knew the information, but she went at numbers. Oh, I know this cousin knows a lot of people, so I'll bring her in. She was playing the numbers game. So I'm going to say, and I love my cousins, but I'm going to say none of them were good network marketers. Not really. And I'll talk about that. Good network marketers versus bad. Not bad, but not good network marketers, okay? Okay, so they were playing the numbers game. So I said, all right, cool. But I got in there and I looked at it and I seen the presentation and they took a girl and they said, come on here, we want to try you. Pull the girl from the audience, they take her upstairs, boom, they put her same outfit back on because she was a girl that had like a little outfit. They put her in the same outfit. They bring her back down. Now the outfit is too big. And I'm like, what? Now let me put this in. I'm getting ready to give y'all some more of my business for those of y'all who don't know. I am an entertainer as well. I'm an entertainer, okay? I am a drag queen. So if you ain't never met no drag queen, now you have. I'm a drag queen, okay? So this is the key, okay? This is the key. This is the key now that my cousin was one of my biggest fans. Go to all my shows and all of that. But my cousin never one moment thought about the fact that I use these types of products or I could use these types of products. Again, I was just a butt in the seat. She was playing the numbers game. She's playing the numbers game. So she didn't think, that's why I said she wasn't a good network marketer because she hadn't thought it all out. She hadn't thought it all out. You said, and an MLM aren't scams if you get a 1099, just FYI. Right. I said it a little bit earlier, Nisa, when I said income disclosure statement, 1099. There you go, baby. If there is that, then you kind of know you're good because ain't nobody playing with Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam will knock your head off. So ain't nobody playing with Uncle Sam. Okay. And if they do, you can stick around long enough, you'll see their head get knocked off. Okay. So this was the thing. So I said, all right. So I saw what it was, and I was enamored with the garment. And this was literally back in, oh, I want to say 2007. This might have been 2007. 7? No, I gotta cut. It's no further out. This was probably 2009 or 2010. Around 2009, 2010. Okay. So I says, all right, cool. I was like, this is crazy. Didn't have the money. I didn't even have the money to join. But I seen the things, and then there was the other products that promoted wellness, and some things promoted weight loss. I was like, man, I'm not into potions and lotions when it comes to weight loss. So I'm like, no, I know how to lose a pound, and potions and lotions is not my thing. I said, okay. But that garment, I said, oh, okay. I said, I think I can do something with that. I can do something. And I done took the garment now, and I done took it, and I'm looking, and remember, I know how to sew too, y'all. I'm looking, I'm turning it inside out, and I'm looking at the construction and the fabrication. And no, it wasn't like anything that I had. It wasn't like anything that I had seen on the market. It was exactly what they said it was. I was enamored right away with this garment. Okay. So I said, okay, no problem. I give it a week, baby. I'm coming in. My cousin was shocked. Oh, okay. No problem. Cool. I got in, and I was the longest lasting one that she ever signed up. I actually quickly passed her and stayed in the business way longer than she stayed. Years went by. I was still in the business. My cousin had done turned that mess down and went on, because again, she was never a good fit for the business. It was just a numbers game. Okay. So that again, the bumps and the bruises. This is kind of where the story starts to get very interesting. Y'all ready? This is where the story starts to get interesting. So that was it. I was hooked. And so I was excited. My excitement was real. This is where some of the stuff happens with network marketing, where you get people, and I want a testimony. I want to know what's going on. And you don't have to sit on me. I don't need to know. I made $1 million. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. This is where the naysayers come from. This is where people get irritated. I made $1 million doing this. Half the time, people can't tell you about the million. They can't really tell you. They just making up story. I don't want to hear a story that's conflated. I don't want to hear a story that's inflated. I don't want to hear none of that mess. Just tell me what's going on. I always approached it that way. I always approached it with my full-on truth. Oh, no, this is what I'm doing. When I wasn't doing real well, because I was real new and I was just trying to learn it, which that didn't really happen, because right away, I guess you could say I had a gimmick. I guess you could say I had my own gimmick inside of it. Okay. I had my own gimmick because, again, I got something else that I could show. I start off one way, and my transformation is a whole transformation. If you're like an open person, you're like, wait a minute, hold on. So my transformation was top level, because I done went from him to shim and whatever. Okay. So my hype was hype. It really did work. My hype was hype. It worked. And it wasn't me being dishonest at all. Now, I didn't go selling people on the whole, because there were people who were selling people on, oh, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose weight, and you're going to train your waist if you wear it every day. And that's the part people wouldn't tell, because it's constricting, because it really dropped you, but it's constricting, you know. So some of that's some of the bumps and the bruises that I start seeing. And I was like, you got to tell people the real story. You got to tell them the reason. You have to present it like that. So anyway, me being me worked, telling the story, sharing what it was. And then as I was there, I was doing well. Truth of the matter was, now let's talk about the network marketing part. The business was really saturated when I came in. It was really saturated. I was late. I was late to it. And when it comes to network marketing, most of the businesses, if you ain't in at the beginning, you ain't never going to reach them. Oh yeah, you can get a Cadillac. Are you? Yeah, it depends on where you came in at. You know, it depends on where you came in at. And that's not all, but that's some, okay? The business that I was in, it really had to do with where you came in at, because there is that whole thing of building a team. The team has to stay engaged. They have to bring other people in. I'm telling you, my truth is that I came in really too late for that. By the time Atlanta was the spot. Atlanta, when it blew up, because it came from Mexico. It all started in Mexico. It got over here and it hit Atlanta, and y'all know the Atlanta girls like snatch waist, big behinds, and big hips. And the Atlanta girls was on it. And this is before the BBL movement, okay? This is before the BBL movement. It was going down, baby. But by the time it came to Pittsburgh, you know, Pittsburgh's slow. Pittsburgh is slow. We ain't quick to jump on stuff. And it had got here, it had blew through here, and I was at the end. And I'm like, shoot, okay. And like I said, my cousin and the people above her, because that's what upline. And upline, for those who may not know what an upline is, the people who brought you in and the people brought them in, and the people, everybody above you that came in before you. Your downline is who you brought in and who they brought in. My upline was through the roof, because I was way at the end. And the way that business was, it had saturated, and that saturation was because you got a product that was just that. How many girdles are people going to buy? How many girdles are people going to buy? How long before everybody that wants one already got one? Oh, I already heard of that. Oh, I bought one of them and I don't even wear it. So it was that. But I have to say, I did very well. And I had several years that I still was pumping and pushing, and I did well. But my upline was falling out. And I was like, well, wait a minute. So I need to learn some other stuff. There's some more other stuff that I need to learn. And it was like literally I had to end up going like levels and levels and levels and levels up and find the people. And it was like, my next up person was like in Detroit. She was in Detroit. And it was like, what the hell? So these are some of the bumps and the bruises. When you hear me talk about the bumps and the bruises, this is some of the bumps and the bruises, because it's your upline that actually says, come on, I'm going to help you. I'm going to make sure you know what it is you need to know. And this was with that business. There are other businesses where you actually can do self-training. And I think through the years, because the business, they know, they are studying. So they like, well, that don't really work. So you got to do it. It was like that. I had to literally go clamoring and reaching for, and then, you know, I found people. That's another part of the story, but we'll get to that part of the story later, because that's when it gets really, really good, really, really into my business and stuff that happened and all the drama. But so that's, y'all with me? Are y'all following me? Y'all ain't getting bored, are y'all? Are y'all getting bored? Y'all following me? So I'm in the business. I'm selling these girdles, but as far as the making the strides in the company and getting all the prizes and the recognition and the this, that, thing, and the other, I seen you're not getting ready to get any of that stuff. You're a lot of that stuff, because they had a thing about Mercedes-Benz. You won't get a Mercedes. I wasn't getting ready to get a goddamn Schwinn 10-speed, okay? I wasn't. But what I did get, because again, the recruitment, it was the recruitment part of it. The recruitment part of it, it was too saturated. It was too saturated. And the way that business went, again, it's like I'm at my wit's end. It's not I can't get nobody else to buy no girdles. And I see you struggling to get people to buy girdles. And then it was all that thing of, oh, there's another piece. Oh, just buy some. Because if I buy inventory, then my upline will make money off of the inventory I buy. That ain't so hot. Because now I got girdles that I can't use. Hell, I can't wear but one at a time my damn self, okay? And look, I'm not no woman. You a boy, Damon, so you know what I mean? I only wear the girdle every time when I need it, when I do a show. How many of them do I have? So I'm literally just throwing money if I can't sell it. And I'm like stacking up different sizes. So it kind of had that little thing going on, okay? So that was that. That was that business. Okay. But again, you got to love the product. I love the product. And I'll tell you, I still wear that product to this day. To this very day in 2025, I still use that product because I still do drag and I still do that product. But, and again, as it went through, I learned to love it because it's not. You know, and I was able to sell it to you because, again, it was not like that. That $40 thing you got. That $40 thing you got is just what you getting what you paid for. While you sitting there and you eating, you out looking real cute with your little man friend, and then your little woman friend, whatever kind of friend you got, no judgment, but you sitting there and that sucker flip over and roll down. These didn't do that. That's what I said about the construction and the fabrication. They were very easy for me to sell, especially because I had the background that I had. I do drag, so I actually can wear it. I can make one of these. I can put it together. So I know what to say. I know where to make you look and that kind of thing. So it was cool for me. I was able to do it. You say upline, downline is where the pyramid comes in. That's where people start with the pyramid thing, and this is the pyramid, and because that's the business model. That's the business model. That's where the iffiness comes from. That's where the iffiness comes from. So it's the promises that you're making, and just keep on pushing. Well, push to who? Push to who? Who am I pushing it to? That kind of thing. So it was that. Okay. So at any rate, I ended up eventually stopped doing the business. I stopped doing the business. And it was years and years and years. I mean, it's been many years. And I've been approached about other business. I told you I don't do lotions and potions for weight loss. And a lot of like my people, I saw other people, they didn't understand why they weren't able to make money. And I'm saying, I told you why you're not able to make money. But if you don't listen to me, that's some of the bumps and bruises. You got to, when you find somebody that knows what they're doing, you do kind of try to duplicate what they do. You can't come and you're doing a show. This is one of the downfalls to that business. People would do shows. I'll come to somebody, I get them signed up. They come in, I'm sitting, I'm like, okay, I come in. I got 2-3 ladies and they sitting around And I'm looking at everybody and I'm like, are y'all serious right now? Nobody got a garment on. See, sometimes it's just simple things. Nobody has a garment on. Everybody's just sitting around the room and everything's out. Y'all know what I mean when I say everything's out. You got some gush and some dush and some everything. Everything is just out. You can't sell anybody a dream looking like a nightmare and then turn around and say, well, ain't nobody buying it. Nobody, why would they buy it? If this is what you, why would they buy it? If you ain't taking and wearing it, that's why I said you have to love the product. You have to believe in the product. You got to be using the product. And if you don't, then it appears that you don't believe in what it is you're selling. And it brings me all the way back to, like I said, you're a pretty shitty person to be you're playing that little nasty little numbers game. And that's not cool. This is where some of that stuff starts. Okay? That's where some of that stuff starts. So eventually, I'm going to say I'll take responsibility for some of my downline. I won't say that I got bumps and bruises. I didn't get bumps and bruises from my downline. I learned a lot of leadership tools from dealing with my downline. A lot of leadership tools and coaching and things like that. So all those things had to happen for me to continue on and figure out that I actually do like this. I actually can be good at this. Those were lessons that I needed. So again, those were good takeaways. So anybody that I brought into my downline, I take full responsibility for them. And I had no problem with my mouth and telling them, y'all look like a nightmare in here. Y'all sitting here. And then they had male garments that as well. They came out with t-shirts and stuff. I'm at the meeting. I got on a t-shirt. Why is there 3 of y'all sitting in here and y'all don't got no garment on, but you trying to get $200 off of a person? And now you fussing because they ain't say, I wouldn't have signed up with you either. So those were just growing pains. Now, here's where the story gets juicy. My upline. See, there's some things that go on. And this is we can talk about that pyramid stuff and that scam of it all. When things start getting tight with certain businesses and it be having to do with stuff, people start stealing. They start playing the sales game and they start stealing and people ain't being real. So I'll say, is network marketing a bad thing? No, it's not. Are there bad people in network marketing? Yep. I ran into some bad stuff doing in some of that upline. Remember, I told you I wasn't connected anymore to like family members. They were gone. So I'm reaching and I'm getting people that don't know me. You know, they don't know me. Even though they make money off of what I do, but they so far up, you know. If they took time with me and showed me things, that was cool and that was nice. I went through quite a few bad situations where they, oh, well, come on, let me help you with some of your people. Let's call some people you know and let's talk to them and this, that, and the other. And then they be trying to steal your prospects and stuff like that. These are the things that you run into. These are the things that you run into when you start dealing in the upline and stuff sometimes. So that's why I say network marketing as a whole, is it bad? No. There are some people that do some bad things in network marketing, but network marketing as a whole gets the bad name for it. So, but that's just like if you work at a sales job, if you work in a loan center, won't somebody steal your prospects? If you get commissions off of anywhere where there is money and somebody can find a sideways thing to do, that's what they're going to do. Those are the bumps and the bruises. Those are the bumps and the bruises. There's a certain type of way to do network marketing, and you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And it's best to be in with people who you trust. Sometimes you're going to be people that you don't know. You're going to get some bumps. You're going to get some bruises. You're going to learn some things. I learned some things. Do you understand me? I learned some things. So I said all that to say this. I got out. You know, I did what I did, and then I just got tired, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this. I think I done sold all the girdles that I choose to sell. I don't want to do no more shows. It's really saturated here. This for me is done. This for me is done. Years and years and years and years and years, I wouldn't even consider it. I wouldn't even consider it. And it was, I actually looked at some things, you know, where people would come through, because some people remembered me from doing things, and they remembered me from posting things, and they'd be like, oh, okay, I'll try him because he had did it. And I know that he was out there and he was present, he did it. And I'm like, none of that stuff. I had already had bumps and bruises, so I knew kind of how to move myself. And I learned right away, if you don't love it, then I can't sell you anything that I don't love. And that's why I was saying earlier that it made all the sense in the world for me to just say, you know what, I don't like, I've been doing customer service literally since I was like 16 years old. I've been doing some form of customer service. I have worked the lottery machine. It's usually with some type of a key punch situation and dealing with people. You know, I worked lottery machine, customer service, face to face. I was a hairdresser in a salon. I made clothes for people. Always customer service, always dealing with people. When I went to a Fortune 500 company, boom, I'm at the phone company, customer service. I'm doing billing. I learned real early on, I love talking to people. I love talking to people. I love helping people. That is the makings of a good network marketer. They're a person who is not self-centered. Okay, you need the drive that a self-centered person has, but you will never be really good in network marketing if you're very self-centered, because the business model only works if you're a person that likes to help other people. You like what it is, you're in love with what it is, and you want to share it with other people, not because, oh, I want to share this with them so I can get this. Nah, you got to kind of be the lover of people, and you want to do well, and you want to see other people do well, because that money stuff, it only lasts but so long. It only lasts but so long, and we all get in together, and then I need some help, and you ain't willing to help me. Now we're going to have a problem, because then I disengage. You understand what I'm saying? Right. You say those false promises of big money will always attract greedy, self-centered folk. Right. And they don't last, Variety. They won't last. They'll only go so far. And then again, things will fall out from underneath, because if you got people and you're not willing to help them, and you're only doing it for your purpose, they're not going to be there. They're not going to be there. They're not going to be there. They are not. They're going to be like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm trying to get help. I'm done. I just didn't do that. I kept reaching until I actually found some people, and I'll tell that part later in another part. But yeah, I found people who really, when I say came and poured into me, because it started to sound like a real nightmare, and it was. At a point, it was like I made my money, but I was like, okay, what am I chasing? What am I chasing? I see the gap. I'm never getting up there. It's not happening. I'm never getting up there. And then I had some people that took notice to me, and it just was. Remember when I told y'all how God puts things in your way and put people in your way? These people reached down and said, let me help you. They couldn't make no money off me. It was people who they weren't even in my line. They were actually doing network. They were good network marketers. And they were like, this person is really trying to do something and make some moves. And they actually poured into me. And I got way more than that business was ever supposed to actually do. Things that I got happened that it didn't have anything to do with the business anymore. It literally had nothing to do with the business anymore, but it had to do with the fact that those people were people who actually had that heart of giving and helping and that kind of thing. And they could even get no money or anything off of me, but they saw it and they were like, oh, we're going to help to develop you. But anyway, so I got out of that business, and yeah, I've seen somebody come to me about some insurance. I don't want to sell no insurance. I'm not sitting around talking to anybody about no insurance. Then there was, like I said, lotions and potions. Nah, I don't want no lotions and potions. I ain't going to take no lotions and potions. I'm not ready to do that. And I always laugh at that when I see somebody that's like a size 6 and they selling you lotions and potions and you are 18. Again, selling the dream. Oh yeah, girl. Why would you take a pill to somebody that's size 6 and you look on their social media and they've been a size 6 on their whole timeline? That's why I said I don't want no conflated testimony. I don't want no inflated testimony. Just tell me what it is. Just tell me what it is. Selling products you know are trash is no better than being a panhandler. Absolutely. It's like lying. If you omit, you lie. You lie. Okay? So that was the beginnings of my journey. That was the beginnings of my journey. I did get out of that business. And then I ran into some other businesses and nothing caught my eye. I never found another business that the way the setup was, because the setups are pretty much, they're the same across the board, but there's always little stuff that you have to look out for. Like, do you got to buy a whole bunch of stuff? Do I need to be buying product that I ain't going to use every month? Stay away from that mess. Stay away from that mess. Why do you want were you running a warehouse or are you running a business? Are you running a warehouse or are you running a business? I wasn't interested in running no warehouse. I don't need a house full of pills that I ain't getting ready to take. First of all, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna tell nobody, oh yes, I'm making all of this money. People can see it. People know when you pulling their leg. People know when you pulling their leg. They really do. They really do. So I got out of it, left it alone. Again, now we're almost at an hour, y'all. We're almost at an hour. Should I keep going or should I go and we come back another time? Well, should we come back another time and because we go into the next part of some of the drama. Like that's my introduction to network marketing. Should I start going into some of the drama and some of how the things switched over, or should I just keep talking, or y'all still hanging? What's going on? We should talk then. Keep going. I'm listening at work. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. All right. I hate to make this video too long. But anyway, okay. So, all right. So here's what ended up happening. So I started to get a little discouraged because I saw that the business was pretty much saturated. Once I learned the things I needed to learn, I ended up running into some upline folk who was way up high, who were really making the money, who really, all of them had started early on. You get to know the leaders. You get to know the leaders as you stay in the business. Do you always have a reach to them? No, you don't always have a reach to them because, again, a lot of them, they're different teams. They can't make money off of you. They don't owe you anything. All the people who actually had a vested interest in me, they were all gone. They were literally all gone. I was out there by myself. Some of my upline people I had gotten done by, like literally, child. Here, put 10, let's get 100 people on a piece of paper and we call your people. Okay. All right. You get the people in the room. I'll come on in and I'll do the presentation for you. Well, I don't need you to do the presentation for me. I've been doing the presentation. I'm going to show you something new. I'm going to come to town and I'm going to show you something new. Come to town, literally sat in my face and tried to pluck my prospects because you were in a position where now you were desperate because you were saturated in your city and you came and you thought you was going to pluck people out of my. These are the things that I'm talking. Right. The audacity. But didn't I say I was going to be honest? I told you I was going to be honest about what my stuff was. When my people fell out, I was fine. Not my people I brought in, but my direct upline, my cousin, the other cousin, the people that brought her, when they fell out, no big deal. No big deal because I was at my high and I was still running. I was rolling. I went through, it was like a dark period before I actually stopped. You know what I mean? I was like, this is terrible. This is like, I got very frustrated at that point. And then the light came on. I had learned about some different little calls that you could actually go on. So there were like Zoom. They weren't Zoom at the time, but there were like 800 number calls that we would get on. We would get on these group calls and they would do like little trainings and different things like that. So you got to know different people. But again, I'm just listening to their training. It was a lot of the ladies in Atlanta. And I was like, okay, cool. These ladies were in Atlanta. And then you start to pick the ones you like. There was a lady in Texas who was at the very, very top. She was the very, very first. She was the very first person in the U.S. that actually signed up. She was over all of us, okay? But she was the real deal because she actually would make some time to pour in. She would do some different things. I didn't get a lot of people who actually would come into town, but there's a couple times when people came in. Then I ran into my actual upline person who was right there up underneath her. She was the top. She was Dorothy was the top. Erica was right underneath Dorothy. And I found Erica was the top of my line. She was in Atlanta, Georgia. And like I said, even though I was so far down, and you figure she was probably making like pennies on the dollar from whatever I was doing. But Erica reached down and she taught me other things. There was a bra that, now I'm using that, you know what I mean? But she taught me that stuff. She actually did end up coming in to Pittsburgh because there were still a few little people who were still in Pittsburgh doing things. She made a trip to Pittsburgh. There's only a few of us. Like I said, it was really saturated, but she came in and she showed us some love. And then after that, like I kept in contact and different things like that. And she helped with a lot of things that didn't end up having to do with the business. Of course, I went on calls. I learned a lot of public speaking stuff, a lot of facilitating of meetings and things that I use in my real life outside of that, things that I took away. So literally my stuff with the business kind of ended there. When I got into that dark spot, I was kind of like just doing my sales, but my learning was like, whatever. Then I made these connections. So I had Erica, I had Dorothy, then I ran into Stormy. Stormy was real cool. Y'all might know her. Her name is Stormy Wellington. And Stormy is still out there. Stormy is a network marketer. She does other businesses at this time, but Stormy is that girl. Stormy was always like, she was like the superstar of that business. And Stormy seen me, and I followed her. Like, I loved everything she did and what she was saying. And I was like, wow, like I learned so much from her, so much from her. Stormy had no way of ever making $1 off of me. Not $1, but I go into her trainings and I was welcome in her trainings. I log in, like, there go James from Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Beautiful, beautiful person. These are the things where I say all network marketing is not bad. All multi-level marketing is not bad. I learned a lot about finances from Stormy. I learned a lot about promoting your own product. And look at this. From Stormy created her own manual on how to work that business and sold it. So made a bunch of money selling to the people. Okay, just some of that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. They had free reign of actually doing it, and then somewhere down the line, the business was like, wait a minute, now we want some of that money. So that kind of got taught. But that little thing that she did, and watching her and following her and seeing how she did that, she had her own shirts. She literally started doing merch. Don't I use that in my YouTube life? Don't I use that in my YouTube life? Don't I have merch in my YouTube life? I learned that from Stormy. I ain't learned merch and how to come up with your own merch for YouTube from being on YouTube. Baby, I knew about that before I even got to YouTube. I knew about that before I even knew that YouTube actually had an affiliate program where you could actually make money off of YouTube. I had learned that from Stormy. Like I said, God put people in your path for a specific reason. And then I'm gonna tell you about one more person. I ran into a woman named Helen Delahousse. Helen Delahousse, this is a big one. Helen wasn't on my line at all. She's just like Stormy. Stormy was way up, but way over there. Helen was way up, but way over there. I used to go into Helen's. Now, all of them used to work with each other still. They would work with each other. So I was welcome to go into Helen's. Helen started to notice me being over there. She would see me when I was doing stuff with Stormy. Helen she would do little contests and little things like that. I was always welcome to be a part of the contest, even though I was not connected to her and there was no money that she could make off of me. And let me tell you how much of a real one that Helen Delahousse was. Helen literally did this little thing, and she chose some people to go into like a boot camp. Helen Delahousse paid $500 for me to do a 1-week boot camp with Lisa Nichols. Do you understand? She had no way of making any type of a return on that money that she spent on me. She did not know me from Adam's house cat. She didn't sign me into the business. She didn't sign none of the people into the business that I knew and came in through. None of that. She just was a badass boss chick who saw something in me from hanging out in her trainings, and I was being there. I was showing up. And she paid $500 for me to go. Now, I didn't even know really who Lisa Nichols was until, hearing her name, her, John C. Maxwell, these people, hearing their names, these people who were like moguls, and they were really, really big names in self-help and network marketing and all of these things. Sent me to this boot camp. I went to the boot camp, and y'all know Lisa Nichols is bad. If you don't know anything about Lisa Nichols, you need to go and research Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols does books. Lisa Nichols been on Oprah and all these things. All these things. She hadn't done it yet. She hadn't even been on Oprah yet. But I went in there. I had so much of a takeaway. What's going on, Honesty? Hi, cousin. So much that I actually learned, stuff that I walked away. And I'm telling you right now, had it not been for Stormy, Helen, and Erica, and Dorothy, them 5 books that I actually have, that I wrote, I'm sure at some point they probably would have came out, but all of that stuff just like awakened something in me. I've been writing. I was writing. I did creative writing when I was in high school, but I wasn't thinking about doing that. Any public speaking, I wasn't thinking about that. I was drag queen. I did shows, take the makeup and stuff off and go home. I wasn't even trying to, like, I wasn't thinking about doing like commentary for the shows or anything like that. Oh, I'll just do it. And I ain't really trying to host it. All those things from those ladies pouring in literally kind of helped of me being who I am today. I can literally take it and leak it all back to things that I've done in my life now that have nothing to do with that business. So literally, I ended up with the bad upline people. I learned the bumps and the bruises that got the knots upside my head as pertains to network marketing. But I knew that I was good enough at it and I enjoyed it, not to just say, oh, I'm giving up on this. This is a scam. This is this, that, the other. No. I know it. I see it. I know how to maneuver. I see foolishness when I see it. When, you know, I learned, like I started in and I told y'all what to look for. If you're going to choose something and do multi-level marketing, how do you think I learned? You got to love the product. You must learn. You must love it. If you don't love it, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. And you got to be very intentional. You got to be very intentional. You got to find something. Child, don't find nothing that you got to be buying. No product that you ain't going to use. It's going to be stacking up unless you want to build a warehouse. So these were the things. I learned those. I took those away with me. And again, like I said, hadn't even thought about doing another business because I never ran into another business like that. There was nothing else that I thought that I could excel at. But I got the bumps and the bruises I took away with me. And I see it. I see videos all the time of people who be blasting multi-level marketing. They be like, oh, it's a scam. Oh, when I seen the Susu stuff, I knew. I was like, that ain't gonna work. That is not gonna work. And I said, but my friends, I said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do this for y'all because it wasn't no whole bunch of money. I just was kicking it around because I was being nosy. I wanted to really see what it was. And I'm like, I know this ain't right. I knew this wasn't right because I ain't no goddamn product. There's no product. And money don't just circulate. Money don't just circulate. As soon as one person get out, it's gonna fall down. And then somebody ain't gonna get their turn and somebody gonna be mad and somebody. Child, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. So all of that, everything was for a reason. All my other stuff, my top line stuff is why I am who I am now. Why I knew how to do merch for myself. How I knew how to do all of that. That all came from me being part of multi-level marketing. I didn't learn that stuff on YouTube. I brought that stuff to YouTube. I brought it here. I had already did public speaking. I had already done CDs. Like I created music and stuff. I got music. I had already did spoken word CDs already. I brought those things. All of those things that I do came from me doing multi-level marketing. So no, I don't have anything bad to say about multi-level marketing. Do I have something bad to say about some people who do multi-level marketing? Yeah. I don't think multi-level marketing is a bad thing. There are bad people in multi-level marketing. Absolutely. People who are self-centered, you want to stay away from. You don't want that. If you don't, you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. And you have to be careful, and you have to be honesty, intentional. You have to be intentional. If you say, and here's the thing, let me say this. I apologize to all my friends, because there's something that I do now, and I'm back in the game, okay? But another thing you learn, everybody is not meant for the business. That is the biggest mistake in the world. When somebody tells you, oh, somebody gonna be mad at me now, honey. But listen, when somebody tells you, tell everybody you know. No, you do not. No, you do not. If you want your life to be a mess, then yes. If you want people running from your ass, then yes. Tell everybody you know. Everybody you know don't need to. No. Everybody you know don't need to be in the business. Do everybody you know need to work where you work? You got friends. You got friends. Y'all know me and Chat. Do you think I would ever take Chat and walk Chat into AT&T and tell Chat, yeah, this is it. This is the thing right here. No, I know Chat. That is my best friend, child. And listen, I call my brother. I don't even refer to him as a best friend. That's my brother. I know him like I know the back of my hand. I can't do the job he do. He can't do the job I did. Ain't no way I would walk him into AT&T, tell him sit down and get on the phone and we're going to take these calls. He would choke my tongue out. So I have to apologize to my friends, because there were friends I had who, when I didn't know, and my friends would sign up. They was doing that for me. They were doing that for me. And that was kind of irresponsible on my part. But I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. I know now, so I can make better decisions. But you're not doing yourself a favor if you don't see certain things in people. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, because all that's going to happen is it's going to fall out. You're going to get on their nerves. If you're running behind them, they ain't going to be answering your call. That is horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. And I know y'all all know somebody. That's all they talk about. They want to sign up everybody they know. That is a mistake. That is a mistake. Don't shame nobody into doing it. Don't beg nobody to do it. If you want to help people, that's what a good network marketer does. A good network marketer helps people. They see something that matches what the product is. The product. See something in it, something that connects, and say, let me show you this. You show it to them, and then that's it. You don't force feed it down their throat. You don't run and chase them down. And there's nothing to win in making people who love you hate to see your phone number come up on their phone. It's just horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. And I didn't do that to my friends, but they did sign up. I didn't have to chase them down. They love me, so they just would do it. And when I look back at it, I was like, man, I should have never even subjected them to that, because it wasn't never going to work. That wasn't them. They had no, it just wasn't going to work. So I thought that made me pretty irresponsible. I respectfully say F off and love you. Take this $20. And see, and I think that's what they did, Dominic. They said, here, I'm going to do it. Okay, no, I ain't coming to no meeting. No, because they don't like it. Don't like it. Don't have no interest. So you got to make good decisions about who you share with. I'll never buy into the, I'm going to tell, you tell them, but I'm not, you got to, no, you ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to do nothing. And you be wasting your time and wasting their time. Now that's my Pennsylvania privilege. That's how I see things. I don't want people to see my phone number and be hanging up on me and clicking me off. I don't like that. So no, I don't want that. I don't want that. So my friends who actually did do the business with me, and I apologize. I love y'all all for real. And I think I've apologized to them before. But yeah, live and learn. Live and learn. I took a lot of lessons, a lot of bumps upside my head. That, with that stealing people and all of that stuff can really flip you over from the business model. But when you look at it, it really is the same thing. If you work in a sales-driven environment, people will steal sales, and it will make you want to hurt them. You said, I worked at a telemarketing job for one day and actually made one sale. Listen, Naomi, this is the funny part, how it should never actually work for me. I do not like telemarketing. I do not like telemarketing at all. I work telemarketing. I got through training. Oh, here we go. I told y'all this wasn't that real good story time. I got through training. Okay. I'll tell y'all that Reese Brothers was the name of the company, downtown Pittsburgh. I got through training down at Reese Brothers. They had, like, they call them campaigns. And the campaign that I was attached to was AT&T. I said, okay, cool. And they were going through the different plans and this, that, thing, and the other. It was all about long distance. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So in the training, I was in training for like 2 weeks. And of course, you know me, I'm like a people magnet. So I've met some girls that I'm still friends with to this very day, and a couple of guys that I am friends with to this very day. And we had so much fun in training, and the information was just so interesting. And I didn't know anything really about long distance, because I don't call nobody long distance. I just, this is back when long distance actually cost. Okay, we talking in like the 90s. So I was like, okay, whatever. Finished up the training, went out onto that floor, baby. When I tell you, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. It just, what y'all listen, y'all be calling me bougie and y'all be saying I'm a bitch, and I guess I am, but I couldn't do the, yes, ma'am, first of all, I don't like reading from no script. I don't like reading from no script. See, all of that, ain't none of that the Spillitboy TV experience. I know how to talk to people. I know how to talk to people, and I'm colorful. People like to talk to me. I don't need you to write down what I'm going to say. This ain't no job like that with Tyler Perry. If Tyler Perry write a script, hell, I might go off of the grid with that and really ramp it up. I might not even make a good actor, okay? Because I know how to talk. I know how to make this pop. I'm the life of the party. I'm like, I don't need all that. So that would irritate me. Now, I don't mind, when you get to the disclaimers, you got to read the disclaimer. I ain't got a problem with that. But I don't need you to script no whole conversation with me, because the same conversation over and over and over with different people is just stupid. Because that's just stupid. Do you say the same thing to everybody? I can't have the same conversation with my 2 separate kids. They'll both be looking at me like, why is he talking to me like that? You better go talk to him. That just don't work. So I've made it like, I went to like the 3rd day, and I was like, I can't do this. This whole begging thing, I ain't feeling this. You calling people, bothering, and they getting on their nerves, they hanging up the phone on you, cuss you out. I said, oh no. So again, it was a learning lesson. And I left midway through the day. I was like, I'm gone. They was like, please, no. We don't want this to be like that. There's like, we don't want you to walk across the sales floor. They're like, So they trying to figure out how I could leave the building because they knew that that job was a mess. And when I was like, look, I'm not going to keep doing all this. I got to go. When I went to go leave across the floor, I promise you there was 3 people who was friends with me who I had already told them I'd had enough. Didn't them 3 get up and say, we done too? And we all left up out of there. We all left up out of there. It was horrible, but we left. Now, we laughed, we went to drink and did all that stuff. But let me tell you what I did next. I was so enamored with what I was doing. I told you I was all in. I always chew up the meat and spit out the bones. That's just what I do. That's who I am as a person. I left there, and that evening, I began looking for how to get myself hired for AT&T directly. And it literally took a year. It took a full year before I actually got, I actually got 6 months. I got offered a job from AT&T 6 months later. But there's a woman who, her name is Monica. And Monica looked at me, she interviewed me, and she said, listen, do you have, I love Monica. She said, do you have some type of income that you could sustain for maybe a few more months? And I said, why are you asking me that? She said, because I really like you, but I know if I hire you, she said, I'm going to offer you this job. And if I hire you, you're going to always be part-time, and it's a temporary position. So it's not going to last very long, but she said it may last a year, just a year. If you got another something that can sustain you and you can hold on, there's going to be some full-time. I'm pretty sure of it that's coming. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So she offered, and I didn't take it. I trusted her. And it took another full 6 months, but it did come all the way back around. And she ended up, I ended up getting the job and going in full time. And I was there for years. But yeah, so there's my actual AT&T story. That's how I actually got to AT&T. I actually went to, same thing. That's just kind of how my life ends up being. And like I said, when I started this, God will put people in your way. And you'd be like, why did I run into that person? Of all the people that could have done my interview, why her? There was a reason. And sure enough, wasn't I there working at AT&T the day that they told them people that had them part-time jobs, this is your last day? Said, damn. So that was that. But yeah, but I learned right then that I did not like cold calling. I ain't calling nobody and asking nobody. Shit. No, but I love an incoming call. I don't have no problem with an incoming call. I love that. Call in what you need. I can help you. Let me do. That's my judge right there. But I don't like that outgoing call and stuff. I really don't like cold calling. So you would think that I wouldn't really care for network marketing either, because in a sense, isn't it kind of no, not really. It's more sharing. It's like I got something that I love and I see something with you and I think it might work for you too. So it's a little bit different, but when you just think about it, you would think that I probably wouldn't like that, but I like network marketing. But I don't get too, I don't get all bent out of shape with people, because you have naysayers. You got people who are naysayers, and I don't get all bent out of shape with it. It's like, I get it. And I know you've heard that, and I understand it. I do understand it. I understand when you say you don't believe in it. You don't believe anything about it. And I know where that actually stems from. I know where that actually stems from. Can I tell you you're going to get all the way to the top of the pyramid? No, I can't tell you that. No, I can't tell you that. But like I said, I could make more informed decisions. Like I said, I didn't do anything for years and years and years. Like I kept looking at different things, and I was like, nope, that business model will be the same thing. It's going to topple. Nope, too saturated. Nope, took too long to get to me. No, that product ain't right. No, I'm not getting ready to open up no warehouse. So again, everything for me, it did more good for me than bad. But I do have the bumps and the bruises. I have the bumps and the bruises from MLM. So when I'm telling you all, is it a scheme? Is it a scam? This is just my story. Like I said, two things can be true at one time. Is it a scheme? Is it a scam? Sometimes. Just depends on what company and how their structure is. But I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm just going to tell y'all, pyramids are illegal. If you see a pyramid, run. Don't get yourself caught up in a pyramid. If there is no actual product, run. That's that right there. That's it. You don't need no more. If ain't no product, and all they say, we just building a team. Ain't no product. Ain't no 1099. Ain't no income disclosure statement. Run. Because that is a scam and that is a scheme. Now, your next thing to do, if you don't love the product and you don't believe in the product, leave it alone. Not you are the product. No, baby, that's your YouTube channel. You get you a YouTube channel. That's what you get you a YouTube channel. You don't need no MLM. You get you a YouTube channel or get you a TikTok or one of them. That's when you are the product and it'll actually work or not. Because there's a whole bunch of us who are the product and they product ain't doing shit. See, look, y'all gonna make me get in trouble. Yeah, so y'all ain't about nothing. But yeah, no, when it comes, I'm trying to be serious with this message, y'all. Listen, when it comes down to network marketing and multi-level marketing, if there is no product, run. If there's no disclosure statement, no income disclosure statement with the government, and it ain't got the numbers, run, because it ain't right. It ain't right. People can't be the product. People can't be the product. Your talent can't be the product. There actually has to be something tangible. It has to be an actual product. It has to be an actual product. Y'all know I'm always open. If you have any questions that you have not asked in the chat, and I'm not going to run off on y'all. We've been here almost an hour and a half. Is there any questions? Because I'm live over here on Facebook. I'm live over here. Does anybody have any questions? Something that I didn't tell, something that you want to say to me, want to challenge me, anything like that? Because I don't want to I didn't talk to y'all and then I'm just going to jump up and leave. If you don't agree with what I've said, I'm open. I want to hear it. I want to hear if you're not comfortable to do it, because it's a safe space for y'all. I create a safe space for y'all to talk to me. So it really doesn't matter what the other people in the chat is saying. You're talking to me. But if you're not comfortable doing that, you can email me at spillitboy@gmail.com and we can have the conversation there. Or you could actually put a comment. If you're watching this in a playback, you can actually put a comment, or you could, like I said, you could reach out to me at spillitboy@gmail.com. So I'll give y'all a couple of minutes before I dip on y'all. But I love y'all, and I thank y'all for listening. Again, I don't know why I never decided to tell y'all my story, because there was so much to it, and it was so messy. It was so coming to town to steal from you and all that. Look at Julia talking about, I'm waiting on Fairmont. I got you, Julia. I got all the notes from that. We're gonna do that. And I also got Tyler Perry's show too. So we gonna talk about that too. Oh yes. Let's see. What about door-to-door sales and getting a percentage? I'd say, Jerry, if you that again, that's network marketing too, because they work with teams. I have a good friend of mine who actually did that back in the day with Kirby. Remember the Kirby sweepers? My mother has 2 Kirbys to this day. Now, my mother's the one. Now, when I tell you she could have sold Kirby to people, my mother swears by a Kirby. But I have a very good friend who he actually did do Kirby. He did great things with that company. He won all kinds of trips and everything else. He did very good. And he's a person that I would have thought, no way would he actually do it. He got to doing that and he absolutely loved it. He literally is a chef. He went to school to be a chef, has all his paperwork, but he ran into that and loved it and did very well. But again, he's very smart. He's a very smart cookie. So he knew, what he was doing and he knew what to look for, and he didn't get his head bumped. But he built a team and they did real well. They did really, really well. So again, there's a product, and that product is all that. That baby, that dog. You talking about sucking something up out of a carpet? Yeah, Kirby would do it. Kirby would do it, and they last long. They their little warranties. Tell their warranties last as long as the warranties on a Coach purse. They were, Kirby was all right. Would you say those? Nah, I ain't gonna mess with them. D. I ain't gonna say nothing about them people and them knives. Nothing about the people in the knives show. Back in the day, they'd even come into your house and demo it. Absolutely. Listen, can we talk about that? How people would, the bumps and the bruises of the business, where people would actually come in and they would have them come in and do a demonstration. No doggone well, they ain't ready to buy no sweeper from them or no rug cleaner, and have them clean their carpets for free. Just trifling. People something else, ain't they? People is something else. Gotta love them, child. People, I remember that mess back in the day. I sure did. People was something. But no, my friend did very well. Very well. But again, yeah, it was, that was definitely legit. They definitely had the structure was cool and the product was awesome. I was a Kirby saleswoman in the 90s. I just couldn't continue with it, but it started to get heavy for me. Yes, they are heavy, Jerry. They are heavy. But wait a minute. What about when people used to do makeup? People who didn't wear makeup. That's what, didn't I tell y'all? You can't sell me no dream looking like no nightmare. Just foolishness. You're not doing any favors by having some. Come on, you can sell it. It's easy. No, it's not easy. Nobody's buying makeup from somebody that don't wear makeup. That's silly. And Avon was cool. Avon was that girl, They had good products. They were expensive back then. They were expensive. Absolutely. I told you we had 2. We had 2 of them. And people, can I borrow? I'm like, Now, doggone well, you is the $60 vacuum girl. Get on out of here. My mother ignorant child. Okay, say those Avon magazines were cute. I lived for right. And that's the type of thing I always had respect for that. That Avon thing, those were some ladies and gents, more ladies mostly, that they were earning extra money and doing it legally and getting their grind on. I always thought that was cool. I always thought that was really, really cool. It was definitely an extra stream. That's one of the first extra streams of money that I remember people doing a lot of was Avon. And they last a long time too. They last a long time. I know Avon made some folks rich. Right. And again, what did it have in common, Naomi? It had a product. It had a product that people love. Baby, Mary Kay. Listen, I'm already told him I was a drag queen. Mary Kay used to have one of my hair clients. She was a Mary Kay saleswoman. There was a liquid lipstick that Mary Kay sold, baby. It was a me long treasure favorite. Okay. I was so hurt when Mary stopped making it. I said, Mary, what are you doing? You messing up my look, Mary. But yeah, Mary Kay was Mary Kay. Now, here's the thing. Never mind, I ain't gonna go there. But yeah, Mary Kay had a good name in the business. There are network marketers. There's money. There is money. You just got to know what you're doing. And you need to do it responsibly, and don't be sideways, and don't, be responsible. That's why I said the business model of network marketing is a good business model. There are some people that are not good, that make things bad, just like everything else. You say don't tug Mary Kay's wig too hard. I ain't gonna tug her. I'm not gonna tug her. I love Forever Red Lipstick by Flory Roberts. Okay, come on now. Our Mary Kay seller would drive around in a pink Cadillac. That's it. That was their big shebang. If you do this much, you're going to get the car. And people actually did get the car. That, there were people who actually had the testimony where they actually got the car. You could actually see it. You could actually see it. Again, making smart choices. And makeup is a product that most people who buy makeup is going to continue to buy makeup. So that kind of like that worked. Yeah. Yes, and then she got a new one. That's what's up. All right, y'all, listen. Again, I love y'all for real, and I thought I was going to have to break this up into a couple different videos because I didn't want to keep y'all too long. But y'all hung in there, so I appreciate y'all. And if you are watching in the replay and you still are here, then kudos to you. Like I said, again, any questions going forth after I click this off, any questions you want to ask me, you can always send them to spillitboy@gmail.com, or you can leave it in the comment section if it's a question that you don't mind anybody else actually seeing. And on that, y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you all on the flip side. Good night, you guys.